consult with the stakeholders and come back and report to this house. Yes, Asuman.
Constitutional amendment mu parliament gye tuli engumi enyoka kitokota kisaanikire ebifuba biba buguma anti Nobert Mao minister wa constitution alese constitutional amendment empya zalese nga akwese kweso obuwayiro waayire eyo munda atebofute bulabibwa nnyo naye ng'ekibulimu kulaba nga batuuza mutabani wa Museveni mu ntebe nga bakozesa amateeka gennyini naye ng'ate babikwesa mu magezi kati n'abaka babiguddemu obuntu bwabadde akwese obukwenya okutuuza famire ya Museveni mu bifo ebisava mu ggwanga muno nga General Museveni bibawa buwi nga batuuzaamu butuuza mu ntebe kubanga yakaddiye kati ayagala abawe buwi batuulemu babere nga balina obuyinza obwenkemeredde nga Parliament yebawa obuyinza obwo era nga yebalonze abaka ba Parliament aba NRM nga baba obuyinza obwo ate nga tewali kubagambako nga tewali kusinyako tewali kubyogerako yenna agezaawo kubyogerako nga guba musango gwa naggomola kati n'abaka babirabye ne lutabuka luli eno lukoya abagamba ebyo amendment ya mu mutasi tugenda kubikkiriza abadde baagala babikolere mu nnaku 3 zokka nga tewali kwebuuza tewali kudebatinga tewali kubuuza ki mu nnaku 3 olwaliro bireeteddwa enkya luli biyisibwe nga tewali kubyogerako okujja okusiisiriza akazigo nga beewakwasa mbu tebalina budde n'olwekyo kudiginga dipu mu nsonga eziri mu amendment eno gye baleese empya egenda okufugisa famire ya Museveni emirembe n'emirembe bufuuke buno Bakabaka era nga bayitibwa ba empula nga baweebwa ebitiibwa ebyo era abafuzi b'ennono baveewo General Museveni abirenga yewe nnono wa Uganda yonna ate era akwase mutabani we yagenda akola ebirala ndooza agende bajjajjaffe ennyindo ezirembekera mukoka omutabani asigale ng'akyatwala ekintu mu maaso bino babitumye Nobert Mao ndooza mwamulabye bwe yagenzeko mu kooti y'ensi yonna ICC nga balina bye bayisaawo akati nno neno mu Parliament abaleese ekikambwe naye kirungi nti abaka babirabye omuliro gukoya gutokota katugende mu Parliament omanye General Museveni engeri akozesa abasajja bano okutyobola eggwanga lyaffe n'okwezza buli kintu ky'eggwanga wano.
I want to thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
And just for your information, the first bills, because there are some small bills that need to be considered, the first bills will be here on 22nd. I mean on Tuesday next week.
Thank you very much.
Next week.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, this item relates to constitutional amendment. This Parliament here has in the past stayed all matters related to constitutional amendment and asked the executive to first establish a constitutional review commission for us to comprehensively deal with matters of the Constitution. Right Honourable Speaker, if we allow this bill, Parliament would be approbating and at the same time reprobating. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to seek your indulgence on whether we should really proceed with this particular bill in the absence of the undertaking we made of a constitutional review commission to comprehensively deal with the constitutional matters. My colleague Honorable Saropend has brought here a constitutional amendment bill. It was shot down. My colleague here, Honorable Wilfred Rwagaba, brought a constitutional amendment bill. It was shot down. Information from Ibra here.
I want to thank you, Honorable Asman.
I have not allowed you to speak. Ibra, you sit. Ibra, you sit.
You know who has stopped you from talking? It's not me. Therefore, Right Honourable Speaker, with this particular bill, in the absence of the undertaking we made of a constitutional review commission to comprehensively deal with the constitutional matters. My colleague Honorable Saropend has brought here a constitutional amendment bill. It was shot down. My colleague here, Honorable Wilfred Rwagaba, brought a constitutional amendment bill. It was shot down. Information from Ibra here.
I want to thank you, Honorable Asman.
I have not allowed you to speak. Ibra, you sit. Ibra, you sit.
You know who has stopped you from talking? It's not me. Therefore, Right Honourable Speaker, I don't know whether we are proceeding well. When the executive comes to their issues, they okay a constitutional amendment. When it is the business of other members of parliament, it is not allowed. How do we proceed in such a manner, Right Honourable Speaker?
Solomon, you have something on the same?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Honorable Asman Basalira for raising this matter. Right, Honorable Speaker, the information I wanted to add is that the Minister for Constitutional Affairs, the Honorable Norbert Mao, committed himself on the floor of this Parliament that is going to bring the whole package of the constitutional amendment. It is on record of this House, right? That's the information
but you had to thank Basalira. What would you do? Because they are all from Bugiri. Yes, Ibra.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you. In the
honorable members, first listen, Ibra is on.
Madam Speaker, I wanted to invite you to the judgment of Constitutional Court and the Supreme Court. During the processing of the Majezi bill, the one that made Mr. Museveni Vice President, the argument by those of us who went to court was that, Madam Speaker, on matters of constitutional, there must be consultation. And not just consultation, but adequate consultation. Court ruled, and Parliament can look at the judgment, that matters of constitutional nature cannot be rushed, even if it is one sentence. I was inviting you, Madam Speaker, with humility, that you consider extending the time at least
Are you done?
I was inviting you, Madam Speaker. Okay, information.
Right,
Honorable,
Speaker.
no. Yes.
Can I conclude, Madam Speaker?
Can you conclude? And when I'm talking about within 45 days, 45 days can even be 1 day. Within. So if you're talking about the dates, that one, it is within 45 days. What I only see sense in it is the issue of Constitutional Review Commission, which Attorney General is going to respond to. Is here.
If you can allow me, Madam Speaker, to conclude, the Attorney General can aggregate these issues and answer them. I haven't looked at all the issues challenging the passage of the anti-homosexuality. But I have heard those who went to court are even questioning the time within which it was passed. As I said, I haven't looked at that, but the Attorney General can help. So as he does, Madam Speaker, I am pleading with you to give these bills enough time. We can pass them next year. The roof is not coming down.
Yes, Macho, Faith, Nathan, a Commissioner.
Madam Speaker, it was all the prayers of the Minister of Justice, Honorable Norbert Mao, before he joined the dining table of the National Resistance Movement, that once a time it will come, he will champion the Constitutional Review Commission process in this country. Madam Speaker, in some of his statements, his interest was Uganda as a country must have comprehensive constitutional review commission. And Madam Speaker, with that, I therefore want to agree with my colleagues that we see no hurry. The dream of Norbert Mao to support the national resources movement achieve it is a dream. As a minister right now of justice, he should help Ugandans that all the Constitutional Review Commission should be carried out so that all the laws that wants to be amended in this house should be done at once and for all.
Thank
you. I believe, Madam Speaker, that will even make DP one of the happiest parties since it is in bed with the NRM.
Thank you. Honorable members, I want to answer the issue of the timing. Rule 1292 is talking about within 45 days. Within. And I have asked committee chairs to do comprehensive engagement with the stakeholders. And my telling them to bring the reports is not negating from the issues of consultation. They are going to consult. You'll find, just because for you are not efficient, you'll find very efficient chairpersons will bring reports very fast because they do the work in. If you get a bed will bring it in 2 days. Honorable Lope, former Lope, sorry.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the sentiments raised by the honorable members here speak to the levels of trust between the executive and parliament. I have listened variously to Wendy over her desire to submit and have space for a constitutional amendment. If you look at the constitutional amendment bill and the memorandum attendant to it, it speaks to the intentions of amending particular legislations that have roots from the Constitution. And if you go constitutional strictly, I'm very sure the Land Attorney General would agree with me that these constitutional amendments actually shake the core of the form of governance, which is decentralization. They actually go to the core of the form of government. Increasingly, the amendments actually are a migration from decentralization to centralization, which is why members are discussing the possibility of having the Constitution amended in a consolidated bill. And now that we have accepted to go piecemeal, no, I'm submitting from what the Right Honorable Speaker has guided the House about. And at the end of the day, probably a question will be put. Will the Honorable, the Land Attorney General, give this House an indication of the intent of government interim by bringing this particularly, and then what became of the plethora of promises for wide-ranging constitutional amendments via a constitutional commission? Because what the Honorable man was talking about is very clear. Is government intended and intentioned on causing serious amendments to overhaul the Constitution, to accommodate the wide-ranging changes in the country, in the economy, in the form of governance? Because these piecemeal amendments, for me, are shaking the form of government, with the decentralization, Right Honorable Speaker, and I'm very sure implementation will be somehow problematic, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Faith?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The amendment intended, as we've seen in our pigeonhole, is on rationalization.
The amendment on constitutional is on merging equal opportunity commission and human rights commission.
Thank you.
And what is said that because they perform the same jobs, so it is a duplication.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
If you look at what is in the amendment, the object of the bill.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. In that case, it doesn't stop the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs from bringing a comprehensive amendment later, while it also doesn't stop us from proceeding with this one. Right Honorable Speaker, the reason I'm saying this, yesterday, all these members, we received messages from people, anonymous people in this country, telling us to reject this constitutional amendment. No wonder we are having this kind of discussion. It is because somebody, yes, we sent messages to all of us. However, Right Honorable Speaker, I can read for them for you. However, Right Honorable Speaker, on the question of timing, it is right.
Honorable members, can you sit? Honorable members, can you sit? Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, we are now going into the merits of the bill. Before the bill is even presented. Now you've started debating the bill. You've not allowed it to be presented, to be laid on table, and you're debating it. Nathan, what do you have? Honorable members, can you sit?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I recall, and I stand to be corrected, I recall we had a committee, which I chaired, concerning the same matter. But incidentally, the cabinet ignored it. They are saying they have a report which informed them to come to this. I would love to see Honorable Mukasa giving that report to each committee so that the committees can be informed. We have been here long, I'm sorry to say.
Honorable members, once we have the reports laid on table, Honorable Mukasa must give his report that formed that decision. And actually he came to my office today and asked that he wants to meet all the chairpersons of all committees before they go into looking at the what? At the reports. So that is the time you should get the report from Honorable Murule.
Additionally, Speaker, I must thank you for having allowed to unpack. You can imagine what would have happened here. The omnibus. We have been here longer. We sat here and we are hurried to privatize. We sat here up to midnight, privatizing. We said we should not say UCB unanimously. Somebody said he would say it on a Sunday, and he saw it on a Sunday. I don't want us to go back to where we were. Some of you, when we are sleeping, some of us don't sleep. We think about this nation. We think, while you sleep 6 hours, I sleep 3, but I think. So what I am saying is, I don't want us to be driven to come to a stage now where we are going, we want another UCB. We want Uganda Airlines, Uganda Railways. You sold them when we are here. So, Madam Speaker, I appeal to ministers who are really colleagues I respect, because Honorable Mukasa, I was with you here. And Mr. Honorable Time was here. We branded, and here we are regretting. I don't want us to go that side. Let us
Honorable members,
go through.
Honorable members, this House made the acts. This House has the powers to either repeal the act, reject, or merge. That time has not reached. We are going to reach that time. There is a procedural matter. This House still, but I want to hear from first the Attorney General.
What, Madam, sorry, I am not where you're going.
You are not finished.
I'm finished. What I am saying is,
you're still thinking about the country.
Let me, yes. Let these members be given ample time to go through these, consult widely. By the time we come here, we are unanimous. Otherwise,
so had we said we are not going to consult?
No, Madam.
No, I am asking you, Nathan.
I am trying to say, for example, if you had not unpacked, what would have happened here? Honorable Mururu Mukasa was rushing to have this bill gone. We would want to see our workers who are laid off. Are they paid? Will they be paid? Is the money catered for? So many things have to be considered. Madam, this is not something simple. We are trying to look at these things, but I can say we need to go slow and in phases so that we can have this country moving forward. I thank you.
There is a procedural matter here.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker.
Now, the way you're speaking about what you don't know, what you have not received, instead of receiving the bills first, then you either accept or reject your...
Right Honorable Speaker, we appreciate the situation in the House today. But, Right Honorable Speaker, you agree with us and with me that the promises of government, once not respected, they will cause suspicion from the people of Uganda. And this being a platform of the people of Uganda have rights to raise concerns from the previous promises if they were promising to have the constitutional amendment done in a manner that is acceptable, that is consultative, then this is really reneging on our promises. Madam Speaker, this country, some of the people, is a dining table, but some of us is our motherland. We have to make sure we tell these people that we are all in consonance to protect the interests of Ugandans. When we rush because we want to appease, there is one professor, one philosopher who said, the triumph of the evil, the only triumph of evil is when good men sit down and do nothing. Madam Speaker, you are one of the people in Uganda that have stood up to defend the people of Uganda. I want to invite the LOP not to obstruct the speaker because I want the attention of the speaker. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, based on that premise, Madam Speaker, based on that premise, Madam Speaker, based on that premise, and
Honorable members,
I want candidly.
Honorable members, can I have attention?
Thank you.
Can everybody keep quiet? We have one house.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
You first sit back. First sit back. You've all talked. I want to hear from Attorney General. Maybe, let me first hear from LOP. Have respect for your LOP.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Have respect for your LOP.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the sentiments in the House, in my view, I construct them twofold. One, there are entities that we shall need to merge because we have duplicated roles along the way. There are entities that we want to give a second thought about because of their critical nature and everything therein. So members are not saying this or the other, but one, they're saying, can we have adequate time to exhaust all of these issues? That's number one. Number two, what would like to hear from government, and it's good the Attorney General is coming, hopefully he will commit, want something comprehensive so that we deal not with these issues piecemeal. Because once we handle them piecemeal, it becomes problematic. Can we have commitment on when they can have something comprehensive that we get to discuss generally, and then we determine how we move? But this piecemeal, this, the other, and so on, it's not very smooth, right, Honorable Speaker?
So you're saying, Lob, you're saying that the merging of equal opportunities and human rights should not be done before we have comprehensive one, or now you're shouting, oh, you handle this and he makes a commitment that we are going to bring a comprehensive.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
I like you guys for making noise. I know some of you know where National Theatre is. This is a house for intellectual debate. Let's debate and agree.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I don't intend in any way to usurp your duty, but the eyes seem to have had it.
Not the eyes, I'm talking to the rope.
Like I said, Honorable Speaker, the sentiment is we get to deal with this comprehensively. I think it does not do any harm once we handle it comprehensively. Let government commit. When are you bringing this comprehensively? And then we deal with it.
Attorney General.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mine is also a procedure.
Yeah.
Mine is a procedure.
Attorney General is also.
Madam Speaker, I wanted to draw your attention to Rule 128, which you can read together with Rule 121 and also Rule 25. And I'll justify my submission. In this rule, on first reading, if you read both sub-rule 1 up to 4, my literal interpretation is that once a bill has been placed on the order paper and called, it must be read for the first reading. And any other discussion will come thereafter, including the committee returning the bill, rejecting it, or advising it to be modified either way. That is my interpretation. When you look at Rule 25 in determining order of business, you are required also to give priority to the government business. But after that, you are required to give directions on how other members that had queued up behind the government, their business can be handled. And my understanding is, Madam Speaker, when this rule is commanding that the bill should be read and we must accept it, this House cannot refuse to entertain any matter brought by government. And then after we can make a decision on it, either way, either accept or reject. So the
I wish everybody would be thinking like Honorable Dur.
So Madam Speaker, I wanted to, the procedural matter is that one,
let's receive the bill
as the rules provide.
As the rules command, not even provide command. And then
you guide the members who have queued, like the Honorable Sarah and the rest, with their private, how to proceed with the guidance from the Attorney General.
To go to the committees. But before we do that, we want a commitment from you on the Review Commission.
Thank you very much,
Constitutional Review Commission.
Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I can report without any fear of contradiction that my colleague, the Honorable Minister of Justice, has collected to date, I think, 73 proposals for amendment. I can also report that he has instructed the Law Reform Commission to collect them and look at their effect on the various other parts of the Constitution. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, that process is ongoing. It's ongoing right now, and I know even Right Honorable Mao, Honorable Mao met some members of Parliament last week who were there discussing some of the constitutional amendments, and I know he has continued to meet several others. So, Right Honorable Speaker, what I can confirm is that the process is being undertaken, and we shall come back to the House at the earliest to report on the same.
Thank you. Honorable Minister of Public Service.
Right Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Rule 128 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Constitution Amendment Bill 2023 be read for the first time. I beg to move. And Right Honorable Speaker, the certificate of financial implications is hereby attached to this bill.
The Constitution Amendment Bill 2023. Item 4.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the procedural issue I am bringing, this is a bill, the Constitution Amendment Act 2023. And Right Honorable Speaker, ideally we have a Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, but it is the Minister of Public Service that is bringing this constitutional amendment. So Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, we are now bringing in trivial issues. Pursuant to Rule 129 of the Rules of Procedure, I now refer the bill to the Secretarial Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. And as earlier on guided, the rules of 45 days stands.
Item 4.2, the National Tribunal Bill 2023.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Byebyo ebiri mu Parliament baagala okuyisaawo ebintu ebitakwatagana abasobola okukola Obwakabaka wano naye abamu bali soba babirabye abagamba nti waliwo ebintu ebizze bikolebwa ne bayisa amateeka naye nga balina ebyekwesa munda oli n'agamba muganye bwe mukola bwekiti ngenda kukola bwekiti era n'akikola nti waliwo yagamba mugenda kugaana okukola kino okutunda ebintu bya Uganda naye ate tubitunde era babitunda. So kati Parliament yali soba nnyo egamba mwami Museveni tagenda tugenderamu ng'atuyisaamu oluseke agenda okuva mu ntebe ng'ebintu bya Uganda byonna bimazeewo tekigenda kuba ate tagenda kufuula wano Bwakabaka kuteekawo obuteesi mu ntuwe nga obuyinza buyita mu Constitution tekigenda kukolebwa era olutalo lukyali lw'amaanyi kimanyi owudde n'omukyala agambye nti babakubidde amasimu nga bagamba nti babikkiriza babagamba babikkirize